The Commission on Higher Education is one of several departments which receive additional allocation from the Disbursement Acceleration Program amounting to 4.2 billion pesos. It will directly benefit state universities and colleges all over the country. It is in line with the higher education reform agenda of the government. And joining us tonight to explain how these funds are spent to improve the quality of education for our country is CHED's Attorney Julito Vitriolo, as Executive Director. Good evening, sir, and welcome to NewsLife.
Good evening and welcome to all.
Sir, what is the thrust of CHED for its higher education reform agenda from 2011 to 2016, and what programs are currently being implemented to improve the quality of our education?
Well, basically we have three major areas or key result areas that's being addressed under the agenda, and one would be the rationalization of our SUCs so that they could use and optimize the use of resources. They can generate more income and be more productive. Another would be the enhancement or the improvement of the educational outcomes of our institutions so that they could be more relevant to society and to the public. And of course, the enduring purpose would be the improvement or the enhancement of access so that more deserving poor Filipino students can partake of the educational benefits from the SUCs.
Sir, there are more than 100 SUCs all over the Philippines, and you have been granted an additional funding of 4.2 billion pesos for capacity building. How will the fund be used?
Well, first of all, the infusion of these funds in this scale really was a welcome shot to the arm, so to speak, and the 111 SUCs really clamored for an increase of budget before, and now they have it. And the 4.2 billion will be used in at least three major categories, and namely would be, you mentioned, the institutional capacity building, and this would include the leading universities, SUCs, and under this would be the infrastructure and facilities upgrading project, and then the grants and aid for research and development and extension, and the executive development program where the presidents and the other senior executives of the SUCs are trained to manage and govern well their institutions. The other component is the institutional capacity building for the developing SUCs, and this would include the modernization of their facilities, their laboratories and equipment. And the third component would be directed to the students who are among the poorest of the poor, and this is in collaboration with the DSWD. The Student Grants and Aid Program for Poverty Alleviation attempts to bring the fruits of education, higher education, to poorest of the Filipino people.
Sir, all these three components, are the SUCs all eligible to apply for each of these components, or do they have to apply, and what are the criteria for selecting them?
Well, there are differences. For instance, in the first major program, the institutional capacity building for leading universities, the selected universities would have to be the more developed, more mature universities who are, possessing of COE or Center of Excellence or Center of Development status. They should be accredited in several programs, at least 7 if I'm not mistaken, and they should have at least a level 3 or level 4 as an SUC.
Sir, in the Grant and Aids program for poverty alleviation and the modernization of facilities, please enlighten our people on what we can expect from these programs.
The SGIA for poverty alleviation is probably the first of its kind, and this is directed, as I said before, to the poor, and we are cooperating with the DSWD to identify the beneficiaries of this program. Actually, they have a program where they have identified already the poorest of the poor who can avail of this program, and we're giving a scholarship or student financial assistance to at least 4,000 beneficiaries with the yearly allowance or support of about 60,000 pesos. Now they are enrolled in the SUCs that are of good quality to ensure that they get a quality education. Now there are other programs that you mentioned, for instance, the modernization of facilities. You know, many of our SUCs, because of the very low budget level, have to rely on generating income. Now, with this grant or the institutional capacity building assistance, they can modernize their facilities, they can improve their setups and acquire more equipment to support their educational objectives and therefore trained better their students. And hopefully with this kind of setup, we could produce better trained students who could be globally competitive.
Sir, how crucial do you think is the DAP in implementing these programs?
Well, as I said, at a time when the public, especially the parents, the students are clamoring for a budget increase for SUCs, this is a very welcome development because now the SUCs can improve their educational outcomes. They can train more faculty, they can have better equipment, they can be competitive with the private sector, and of course, they can produce graduates who are, I would say, competitive, competent, and can be productive to our society.
Sir, do you think these programs can be implemented in the remaining 3 more years of the higher education reform agenda?
Well, I think the Aquino administration should sustain this because this will help our students, especially in the SUCs, gain more competencies. The SUCs can improve their setup, they can improve their quality, and definitely we can have an SUC that is not only highly comparable to many good private schools, but hopefully we can produce SUCs that would be called internationally or world-class SUCs that can compete not only in the region but in the international arena.
Sir, given these programs and when they are achieved, they will eventually improve the quality of education in the program. How do you think will this translate to inclusive growth?
Well, this is really the idea because you must remember that the majority of those enrolled in these state universities and colleges are I would say, the category of the poor students, and they cannot really afford education in the private sector. So by helping the SUCs improve their facilities, we train their well and we develop their capacities, then we are actually producing a generation of young Filipinos who would be well-trained, well-educated, and competitive, not only in the Philippines, but elsewhere as well in the world.
Sir, before we let you go, I'd just like to go back about one of the components of the Grants and Aids program. One specific portion of that is about the poverty alleviation. So does this mean that more students can have an opportunity to continue into the tertiary level of education because of this aspect of the program?
Well, you're absolutely correct there because now we have at least 4,000 beneficiaries and we hope to continue this and to increase it. Now in the higher education, public higher education system, and they're enrolled in the better state universities and colleges, and hopefully if we are successful, we can shepherd them and hopefully they can graduate and become productive members of society.
All right, thank you very much. That is Attorney Julito Vitriolo, the Executive Director of the Commission on Higher Education. Thank you, sir.